So I can just click
put a
Alt
knuckle
and
in it?
actually
I'm
get
trying to
something.
concentrate. They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on. One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Well, well, what have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right. I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mest.
So let's humor him. Let's see where this leads.
There's some discoloration, as well as a rather disconcerting lack of tongue and gums, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this.
Merchandise?
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this.
Carrying on.
Can you cook?
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad? Insufferable, surely. What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
In which case, I take it your cuisine is limited to the introduction of eggs to hot water. How disappointing. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. A most satisfactory answer indeed. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on. One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad?
The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you can tailor and groom, but you have the taste buds of a dung beetle. Still, beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave.
It was one of them. I know it. Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
My slave, of course.
Don't care about us.
Oh, but I see. Yes, I suppose it must take some time for the full extent of this honor to sink in. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy. Now shoo!
What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you. It was one of them. I know it.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad?
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet.
Under lock and key.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this trampy fan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less.
He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
I get the distinct feeling this guy doesn't like him very much.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Sorry, testing one more thing right now.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are
I ask what he did to find himself at the mercy of a subordinate.
Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and ask.
That has the Magisters more
Did he
concerned
do
than
the murder that he's being claimed to have done by this soldier?
No. The dead man, Fane, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough.
I'm gonna ask him if he knows anything about Fort Joy, since I've seen like 3 people mention it now.
The Joy? I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself.
Insufferable, surely. What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for
I'm gonna say I'd like to meet Alexander, show him exactly what I think of his bloody divine order.
Easy now. I might think the same, but Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You! What's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet,
boiling a bit of cabbage.
and that bee is me.
Hold my
Name?
I tell him my name is in a language he's never heard of and can't pronounce, but he can call me Fane.
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of...
Away with you. At once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with
greasy key.
Well,
Nice.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the
Aha.
Majesty's more concern than your appetite.
I'm gonna take your pocket knife.
Don't you
I'm gonna
get
take your
saucy
little
with me.
potato.
You clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
What's a journal doing? This tome contains no text. Instead, it sketches of dragons fill every page. The artist is hardly talented, but clearly enthusiastic. Put that back on the table.
I'm trying to concentrate.
Who? What did I do? No. I meant to move the camera around, and I did something completely different.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
I'm gonna steal everything that's not nailed down.
Insufferable, surely.
Unknown effect?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet
Smelly.
long enough for me to listen.
Oh, okay. So this is like
You classify this
like Skyrim, where
I've seen
I
more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
you have
There's
to
nothing
eat
else I
the
can make, Your
the
Majesty.
different items and
Turnips
know what
and
the effect
water
is.
are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first
Mashed
thing
potatoes,
about sauce.
mashed potatoes, small poison bottle, because that heals me. Now what did I grab? Washing tub. Get the hell out of my inventory. I just learned a new recipe.
Locked.
Okay, so I can't get through that door. Just gotta go around. Oh, I didn't see that elf there.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
I wonder what she's doing.
Rolling dice?
No shit. But you said something that went along with the rolling of the dice.
Deciding fates.
Okay, I frown. Whose fate is she deciding? How am I frowning? I don't have lips.
Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
If she can decide fate with dice, ask if she can read the future in cow entrails as well. I am not going to do that. I'm going to decide it's best to take my leave.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner, aren't we?
You think me mad? Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
Oh, I didn't talk to her.
What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet.
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
I play along and take her arm with a grin. Tell the children they must be mistaken.
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
What?
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we?
Say that's true enough. Shake her hand. Luis, you presume? You know what? She said her name right and I wasn't listening.
You presume right.
Ask if she knows anything about the murder that happened on board.
Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better.
Hey. Is she a party member? I mean, I know she is a party member. This was the other person I was told if I was going to pick any two characters to start playing as. She was the other one.
Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer.
Okay. That escalated really quickly.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
You think me mad? Mad?
What, do you want the door open?
Sufferable. Surely.
Okay.
What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen. Name?
I bow slightly and tell him my name is Fane.
Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy. We're trying to catch a killer here.
Wait, you just take my word for it? Okay. Another plant that I don't know.
We'll hang you right out.
Source hound, so they're using dogs to smell for it?
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
I guess I'm fine so far.
Glad to hear it. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
It's weird the contrast between them being civil and them being mean, and then them being Walmart greeter status.
Sufferable. Surely.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on it.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
I don't have eyes.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes, sir, and turn and leave. It says here I'm doing it because I want this murderer to be brought to justice, but I want it to happen because I don't want the murderer to murder me.
By all means, do as the officer says, but you had better hurry, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
What?
I'm just about to create a scene.
That's not fair. I can't remove my collar.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
Wow, Wow, that escalated really freaking quickly. Hey, Divinity.
My mask! She stole it. If these savages see me without it, they will have my skull for a goblet.
Oh, they took my mask. I can loot the bodies. Thank you for the gold, guys. Chest with stuff. I am gonna go ahead and put on the hatchet, even though I'm gonna go for two-handed weapons. Oops, not that one.
Oh! What? What happened? Must have been the turnips.
I grab a nearby cup and throw water into his face.
Water? Wine, for goodness sake! Oh!
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness.
Okay.
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead.
Hold my head to a chest, listening for a heartbeat.
You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive, but only just.
Yes, I did. I did get one donation. I wonder who, what handsome rogue gave me that donation. Also, this guard's dead.
Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground like an animal. Under his shaggy hair, you can see green eyes fluttering as if in a nightmare. A low whine escapes his lips. His eyes flicker open, but he doesn't register your presence at all.
Lucien. Lucien.
Ifan cries out, then his eyes fall closed again. No matter how much you shake him now, he cannot be roused.
Interesting. I think all these people who survived are the player characters, or all the companions.
The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, grayish-black clouds swirl through them.
Shake her shoulder.
No.
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
I'm taking the book. Thank you. What's in the book? The Source King insists there are no magics too foul, even those that would block or even remove the source within an individual. I delight in his madness. It is an invitation to manipulate all which we once believed immutable. He provides all manner of experimental subjects. The text beneath lists a series of hexes and materials required for muting a source. Some of those objects are circled in black ink and annotated as follows: helm, collar, mask. Okay.
The Magister lies on the floor,
Okay. Get one last person to talk to. Oh.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
I reassure, You'll get her out of here if you can.
It's no use. Your words do not seem to reach her.
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
Yeah. Second. I'm gonna lower the audio just a little bit more. Cheese bread, taking that. Taking the pumpkin soup. The chub fish. Bottle of wine. Red snapper. I'll figure out what all that stuff does later. Take that gold and let's head upstairs. The supernatural masquerade. The living cannot stand the sight of the undead. To avoid triggering panic and hostility everywhere you go, be sure to keep your head, torso, and legs covered. You can do so in your equipment panel. Think that works? Does that work? Okay, cool. What is this? Forgery of a painting. Get out of my inventory.
Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
Constantly getting wet. Or at least the status keeps saying I am.
God damn it. I need to get off this wreck. Quick.
Take all that. Did I get a shield? Is that what it is? No, I got a frying pan.
Great gods! Something's pounding on the hull.
The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is. A warning of death fog within.
But I know my undead racial makes it so I'm immune to whatever death fog is.
You press your palm against the door to open it. Your fingers clack against the wood, and you suddenly feel grey. The touch leaves you numb, dull. It doesn't
Cool, open the
budge.
door. Okay, or not. Picked up another note. Murtoff. death fog barrels have been locked down in storage. Stay out, you and Rick's both. If anyone starts fooling around down there, it'll be lights out. Did I just get the key for it too? Yes, skull marked key. This enigmatic key is stamped with a white skull, blah blah blah. Throw down the note. I don't need to keep that in my inventory.
The moment you touch the door, grayness seeps into your bones. You are hollow.
I use
the door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
Chapter 1, The Merryweather. Currently, we're made it to the middle deck. The ship is badly damaged. We have to keep moving.
Death fog? Good thing I'm immune. Still, this means trouble.
Nothing else down here? I guess not. Okay, so we're gonna go left and up the door. Or stairs, sorry. Game just saved.
More. I need to get off this.
Whoa. Bull rush. Oh, that's cool. Piece of cake. Oh. I can see it's like a kraken thing that's like attacking the ship. Ooh, that tentacle there is huge. Oh, I can throw the barrels? That's cool. I want the barrel here. Aha. Excuse me, coming through. Blind radiant scroll. Deal air damage around me. They also receive a status that turns enemies blind. Gold. Let's head back down. Let's change the camera angle so we can actually see.
A lifeboat! That means there's still a chance.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
That's not how the old stories went.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the dwarf a yellow-bellied coward. I'm returning to the lower deck and I'm gonna check for survivors.
Thank you, thank you, thank you! There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear?
Had to open your big mouth, didn't you?
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
Okay, can't save her, I guess.
If you can walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a... Wait! Voidwoken!
Beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
Oh. There's an example of petrify right there. Also,
I
ow.
thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary. Let the games begin.
They who are about to triumph salute you.
I've faced worse.
Thanks for lighting me on fire, by the way, jackass.
This old tub is about to burst.
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan. The one who put on this damn collar.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound.
Well, I'll look around and see if there's a way to help her.
With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture.
I take the cloth and hold it right to the wound to try and stem the bleeding.
Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror.
I'm gonna unravel the blood-red cloth and wrap it snugly around her neck like a wait, no. If I snugly wrap it around her neck like a tourniquet, isn't that gonna choke her to death? I'm just gonna hold it tighter to the wound. I think if I do two, it's gonna just kill her. I just choke her to death instead of her bleeding out.
It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder.
I continue holding the cloth to her wound. I take Siwan's hand and try to help her stand.
Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then cracks.
It's ripping the ship apart. This is it.
Whoa!
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully, into eternity. High Judge Oriven.